All right, the best episode of the entire season. No, that's not true. But for me, it was pretty good. I like this episode. Judge, Jury, Executioner. That's the name of this title and of the episode. And so it starts out with Daryl beating the living shit out of Randall. Daryl wants to know how many people are in that group. Randall finally tells him 30. And Daryl's torturing the shit out of this guy. And Randall tells a story, which I don't know why he would tell this story because it makes him look terrible. Even though he said, I didn't do it, I had nothing to do with it. That, they found this Mexican father and his 2 daughters. Now, you're supposed to believe, it leads you to believe that this is the guy, I forgot his name, in the first season that was with the group that left to go be with his people. But I'm pretty sure he had a wife and a son and a daughter. I don't remember it was 2 girls, but maybe he had 3 kids. I don't know. And maybe his wife died and his son died, maybe. And it was just him and his 2 daughters. Who knows? We're supposed to believe that. I know a lot of people say that that's who they were talking about, but there's no evidence to back it up. Talk about how they raped the girls, the daughters, in front of the father, and that the girls were young. And it's just like, Daryl just, that hits closer home with Daryl. I know this hits him with Sophia. So then, and Randall's like, but I didn't do it, I swear. I had nothing to do with it. I didn't even touch him. And Daryl just beats the living shit out of him. I guess he was trying to, I don't know, maybe he thought Daryl was like him, like a dirty, grimy bastard or some shit. I don't know. He says they have a lot of weapons and there's 30 of them. So the group Rick decides that they're going to kill him. And Dale, this is the whole episode, Dale's like, pacifist man, and he's like, no, we can't, we're no better than those people, and blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, Rick's like, I thought about it, he goes, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do this, and he goes, well, we all decided, nobody said anything. He goes, you didn't give them time, let me talk to people. So the whole episode, Dale's talking to everybody. But before he goes to talk to everybody, he talks to Andrea a little bit. She agrees with the situation, but he says, look, just stay watch, because Shane might just go in there and kill him. So then she does that. And while she's there, Shane comes, they start talking, and then you see Carl magically inside, and he starts talking to Randall. And Randall tells him, oh, yeah, we got a group, and, I could bring you guys to them, and we can all, be together and all these things. So you can't really trust Randall. You can't trust him at all. I mean, he says he didn't do anything. He probably did. And then later on, especially since he said they were really cute, and then they raped, that was fucking disgusting. And then now he looks at Carl kind of disgusting too. And then he's telling him oh, we could bring you to what the fuck, this disgusting prick. Yeah, he's a good actor because you kind of don't know how to feel about him. You don't know if he's what he is, because at one point he's really good and he helps Rick at the last episode. Then this episode he says some grimy shit. So you don't know if he could run away. Why he would run away doesn't make sense, because they saved him. That's the whole point. They didn't leave him for dead. His other group did. Why would he go back to them unless he was a dirty, disgusting pervert? Dale goes to every single person, and nobody wants to stick up for this guy. They all want him dead. So then Dale gives a big speech in the house about how, we can't do this. We have to decide. We can't just be judge, jury, and executioner. We have to give him a chance. What we're going to do, we're going to punish him now for a crime he hasn't yet committed, and all this bullshit, and nobody wants anything to do with it. They're like, no. And he's like, well, maybe only me and Glenn are the only ones. And Glenn's like, no, he's not one of us. He should die. We can't trust him. And it's Dale starts to cry. He's a great actor. Jeffrey DeMunn is a great actor, but this was done because he was probably the most vocal about Frank Darabont's departure and how he was thrown off. So he probably, no matter what, he was like, I want out. Because he is, Frank Darabont, one of his closest friends, I would say. He's been in every single movie since The Shawshank Redemption, I believe, that Frank Darabont has directed. He was in The Green Mile, he was in The Mist, so I'm pretty sure, he was like, no, I gotta go. This is my last season. I don't care. I want out. And this is how they did it. And they worked him into this episode being the voice of reason. But at the same sense, I don't like that character. I don't like pacifist in the sense. From what we heard, you cannot trust him. He's a dirty... As soon as I heard that about the girls, and even though he said he didn't have anything to do with it, I can't trust you. Because the way you said it, it was disgusting. I would have just killed him right there. No more stories about it. You got a problem with it? Go to the police, Dale. I would have killed him. I would have done it. I'm sorry. I'm a bad person, but I would have killed him. Also, later on, Carl goes out and finds a walker stuck in the mud, starts throwing rocks at him. The walker gets loose, somewhat loose, and grabs Carl, and Carl screams. It runs away, but the walker's still kind of trapped, and Carl just runs away. This sets up later when they're about to kill Randall. Carl walks in, and he's like, "Do it, Dad. Do it." And because of that, Rick can't do it. You know, he's like, "My son's lost humanity. He's lost," you know, earlier he talked shit to fucking Carol. Carol was like, "Sophia's in a better place," and he's like, "No, she's not. She's dead. And if you don't believe it, you're stupid." And then Carol got pissed. Rick had to talk to, Carl about that. So now he's like, he sees all this, you know, that happened earlier, and now he wants to watch this guy get killed, and he agrees that he should die. He kind of like questions his decision now, and he's kind of saying like, am I like losing my humanity, or am I becoming more like Shane? And so he doesn't do it. And then that's when Dale, you know, he left earlier. He's roaming around Herschel's farm, and then he comes across a dead cow and then gets attacked by the same walker Carl was fucking around with earlier. That walker rips his stomach open, his guts are hanging out, and you know, Daryl comes to the rescue, kills him, and he's just, this is good acting. I mean, Jeffrey Dunman's a good actor. I've never said anything bad about his acting. I just didn't like Dale's character. And so his guts are all spewed out, and he's like, everyone starts crying. Carl sees what happens. He starts crying. You know, Rick, you know, they're like, he's suffering. We got, like, because Herschel says there's no way to help him. Like, he's gonna die. If we move him, he's dead. Like, he's dead, and he can't even speak. Dale. So they're like, but though he does, Andrea says, he's suffering, somebody do something. And his eyes kind of open and look at Andrea like, I'm not suffering. I don't know how to take that look. And then Rick takes the gun out and points it at him, but can't do it. And then Daryl, and then even Shane in this whole thing, even though he hated the shit out of Dale, it would have been much better if you saw like a glimpse of Dale looking up at Shane, and Shane just smiles, you know, like this is gonna happen, you loser. Like that would have been much better, you know. But no, Shane can't even deal with it. So Shane's like, oh, he's looking away, but then he's also frustrated that Rick won't kill him, so he's like looking, but what the fuck? Why don't you do it, man? But Daryl takes the gun, and then he says, you know, the coolest ending quote ever in the episode. He's like, "Sorry, brother." And then when he goes to shoot him, Dale puts his head to the gun. So it's like, yes, Dale does want to die now, because that last look you didn't really know. A good episode, because Dale died. That's why this is the best episode ever. I didn't like Dale as a character. In this episode especially, because he's annoying. You can't trust him. You can't trust Randall. And the people he was with were grimy, dirty bastards. And they were even asking if you had coups. And that whole story about the little girls was just the end. That he should have been killed right then and there. Because first he said it like trying to intrigue Daryl. Like, you know, like this is what we do. Good episode anyway. Talk to you guys next time. Let me know what you guys thought about that episode down below. Peace.